Howdy readers, I'm Jason. This is Chapter and Verse, and I apologize for this video coming a little bit late this weekend, but this is my last video on Bring Up the Bodies, right? So we have been working our way through the first two Thomas Cromwell novels by Hilary Mantel, and this video is going to touch on the last two chapters in the book, Master of Phantoms, which is a wonderful name for that chapter, an apt name. And the very, very last chapter, which is like 5 pages long, or 4 pages long, is Spoils. This was a strange weekend, didn't go quite according to plan. I had hoped to finish the book yesterday. I finished it today. But I probably spent more time than was advisable or healthy this weekend, reading about coronavirus and thinking about coronavirus, and just trying not to freak out, I suppose, about the world and everything that's going on in it right now. Just a couple of things I want to talk about. The first two things is I just wanted to share with you all my two favorite passages in the novel. Now, the first time I read the book, back in 2012, these were the two passages that I saved in my Commonplace book. And actually, I think when I did the Commonplace book tag, which I think was created by Fariba at the Francophile Reader, formerly the Medieval Reader, I think when I did that tag, I read one of the passages from Bring Up the Bodies. So some of you may have heard me read this before, but here is one of my two favorite passages from this book. The king's body is borderless, fluent, like his realm. It is an island building itself or eroding itself, its substance washed out into the waters as salt and fresh. It has its shores of polder, its marshy tracts, its reclaimed margins. It has tidal waters, emissions and effusions, quags that slough in and out of the conversation of English women, and dark mires where only priests should wade, rushlights in their hands. Yeah, that's magnificent prose right there. And her books are full of prose like that, as we know. And then the last passage that I wanted to share with you all was this one here. When Wyatt writes, his lines sledge feathers, and unfolding this plumage, they dive below their meaning and skim above it. They tell us that the rules of power and the rules of war are the same. The art is to deceive, and you will deceive and be deceived in your turn, whether you are an ambassador or a suitor. Now, if a man's subject is deception, you are deceived if you think you grasp his meaning. You close your hand as it flies away. A statute is written to entrap meaning, a poem to escape it. A quill sharpened can stir and rustle like the pinions of angels. Angels are messengers. They are creatures with a mind and a will. We do not know for a fact that their plumage is like the plumage of falcons, crows, peacocks. They hardly visit men nowadays, though in Rome he knew a man, a turnspit in the papal kitchens, who had come face to face with an angel in a passage dripping with chill, in a sunken storeroom of the Vatican where cardinals never tread, and people bought him drinks to make him talk about it. He said the angel's substance was heavy and smooth as marble, its expression distant and pitiless. Its wings were carved from glass. Come to think of it, that might actually be the passage that I read in my version of Fariba's tag. So apart from sharing those chunks of text, really the only thing I wanted to talk with you guys about with respect to this book is the portrait of Cromwell. And I have spoken about this in some of my other videos, I know. But I feel like the portrait of Cromwell has been complicated to an extent in this book that, it really raises the question again, especially heading into the third book, which none of us have read. So detractors, right, claim that Mantel's portrait of Cromwell is revisionist to the point of making him not merely a protagonist, but a hero. And as we know, historically, he has been viewed as a villain. So if he's a hero, right? If Mantel's naysayers are right, and if she has indeed painted Cromwell as a hero, what are we to make of his intense hypocrisy in this book, of the way that he uses the case against Anne Boleyn as cover for exacting his own revenge? There's the scene where he is holding Brereton accountable in his interrogation of Brereton for the same thing that he himself is doing, right? So here's Cromwell speaking to Brereton. The facts of the case are known to you, right? He's speaking about something that happened, I don't know, a year and a half earlier. There was a quarrel, blows exchanged, one of your household ends up dead, but the man, Iton, is tried in due form before a London jury and is acquitted. Now, having no respect for either law or justice, you swear revenge. You have the Welshman abducted. Your servants hang him out of hand. All this, do not interrupt me, man. All this with your permission and contrivance. I give this as one instance. You think this is only one man and he doesn't matter, but you see he does. You think a year or more has passed and no one remembers, but I remember. You believe the law should be what you would like it to be, and it is on that principle that you conduct yourself in your holdings on the marches of Wales, where the king's justice and the king's name are brought into contempt every day. The place is a stronghold of thieves. So he's telling Brereton, right, having no respect for either law or justice, you swear revenge, which is precisely what Cromwell is doing here, right? At the end of each of these passages where he is interrogating these men who had all been involved in that play, right, where the cardinal was dragged down to hell. At the end of this passage, right, William Brereton, left hind paw. He's making a tally of these people for their role in the cardinal having been brought down and the cardinal's memory having been disgraced as it was. And he's made it personal. It's not about the law anymore for Cromwell. It's not about the case against Anne Boleyn. It is about him squaring things as he believes they should be squared. The law be damned. So where am I going with this? Basically, I just want to say that it seems to me that Cromwell is neither villain nor hero in this book. Instead, he is extraordinarily human. He is weak, he is conniving, he is emotional, he is loving, he is exceptionally intelligent, he is faithful and supportive. He is so many things. And too often in art these days, especially films and novels, we see characters that are less human beings than pawns in making a point, right? Whether it's a satirical point or an ideological point, regardless. And I am kind of tired of that. I really want narrative art to be populated with characters who feel like real people to me, like real human beings who are complicated and troubling and who distress me and who give me hope. That's what I want from art. I don't want to be preached at, right? I just resent that. And I bring this up because I saw Parasite on the big screen yesterday at the cinema. And I liked it on some level, right? I thought it was really well executed. I thought it was well directed. I thought it was well acted. It was well shot. It was beautifully scored. It had a lot going for it. But in the end, I felt like all of the characters in the film were just despicable people. They were all just really just awful, sour people. And in the end, the director, right, something happens. I'm not going to spoil anything, but something happens in the film. And a character hears other people talking about him and finds out that there's something about him that they dislike or that disgusts them. And the director wants us to feel sympathy for him, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't, because he's just an awful person, right? And the film is just full of these awful people, and they are such because to complicate them would make it far more difficult for the director to explore the thematic point that he was trying to explore. And so he took the easy way out, and just made things really simple, and just made things really bitter. The film is really ugly in many ways, as far as what it has to say about people. And again, I don't need characters to root for. I don't even really need to like characters, but I have to believe characters as three-dimensional, fully fleshed out human beings. And Parasite did not give me that. Hilary Mantel's novels, on the other hand, give that to us, I think, in spades. And not just Thomas Cromwell, but Anne Boleyn. I mean, even on down to the most minor characters in the book, right? Chapuis, and even Cromwell's cook, I think his name is Thurston. Thurston is a marvelous character, and he has hardly any lines in these novels. But when he is on the page, you remember him, and you laugh at him, and you feel warmth toward him. She just has a remarkable ability to really see people and to translate that onto the page and to give us these characters as gifts. And she might be actually better at that than any writer in the world today. I liked Bring Up the Bodies a lot more on my reread of it than I did when I read it in 2012. But that's really it. A couple more things. In case you guys haven't seen it, I wanted to encourage you all to check out the miniseries that was made for British television and then aired here on PBS in America of Wolf Hall. And it's just called Wolf Hall, but it's actually an adaptation of the first two books. And it's wonderful. I've still only seen it once. I'm looking forward to watching it again soon. And rumor has it that that the same cast, the same director, same writer, that they're all busy at work now on adapting The Mirror and the Light for television as well. So if you haven't seen this yet, by all means, seek it out. And then as far as The Mirror and the Light is concerned, in March, right, there's still no table of contents online that I have found anywhere. And we're all going to be getting the book at different times, right? It comes out in England here on Thursday, I think, this week, is what Roz was telling me. I made the mistake thinking it was Tuesday this week, but no, it's actually Thursday. And then it comes out in Canada and America the following Tuesday on the 10th. I got my first update from Amazon Canada as to a delivery date, and it's looking like it's going to be delivered to me the week that it comes out, either on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday that week. So it's going to be a while before I get the book. It's going to be at least a week and a half. So anyway, so as far as Cromwellathon goes, and tying it in with March of the Mammoths, I would just encourage everybody who's making videos on these books at this time, primarily Roz and Jay, and if there's anybody else who's looking to jump into the fray for March, to make them as you wish, and to just in the subject lines of your videos on The Mirror and the Light, let us know what chapters you're going to be talking about, so that way those of us who are reading it, which is going to be everybody in the world, it feels like, here in the next couple of weeks, those of us who are reading it can avoid spoilers. Cromwellathon will continue over the next 5 weeks or so, but it's going to continue in a more sporadic fashion, which will be nice. It'll allow me to actually get caught up on some tags and things like that. So Brian from Bookish, I know, called me out recently for not making as many videos as I used to. So maybe I can get back into the groove and start varying up the content a little bit as well. As for myself, here in the next couple of days, look for a new ramble video from me where I will be rambling with not only the yarn, but with the Mammoths as well. So that is to come either tomorrow night or Tuesday night this week. Let me know what you guys thought of the last 160 pages of Bring Up the Bodies, and I will see you guys again very soon. Adios.